Well, good afternoon, everyone. It's hard to follow an inspiring marketing guy, but I'm gonna try my best. And I got to talk a little bit about football. I spent 25 years in Nebraska, and there are a lot of Nebraska fans at the railroad in Spring, Texas. And every time I go by one, I said, "You guys have run away from Texas and OU. I can't believe it." That's the reason they escaped to the Big Ten. But anyway, let me begin with a map to acquaint you with Union Pacific, those of you who don't know the reach of the railroad. We blanket the West. We serve many major ports on the West Coast and the Gulf. We've got 6 gateway slots into Mexico. And I want to recognize 2 of our great customers, the folks from Dow and BASF, who are here right in the center, symbolic of the strong support they provide to the community here. You walk around the college campus, you see the buildings that they've donated, and we've been involved in some of the activities down here, and you guys have a lot to be proud of. Our business mix is one of our strengths. It's very diverse. When one commodity, like industrial products on the lumber side, is down, others are up. Right now, as I'll explain later, intermodal is a real challenge for us, looking at the economy. Infrastructure, capital investments. Railroads are very intensely capital, and we generate our own capital internally. We don't rely on government funding, on user charges. Our industry spends the most percentage-wise of any American industry in capital, looking to 17 to 18% of our revenues, and you can see at UP we're up to $3.3 billion this year. The capital we've invested over the last few years has produced results. It's increased our train speed, which is, of course, extremely important when you look at our ability to serve customers, and reduced the time that our cars have to spend in terminals as new freight trains are made up. And this success has been reflected in what our customers are saying about us. We survey them on a monthly basis, and from this chart, you can see the positives we've seen from 2005 up to 2011. We're very, very pleased in the direction we're heading. We still have further to go, of course. This is an example of what's happening when you look at the economy. Folks look at railroad car loadings as an indication of what's going on with the American economy. And if you look at this chart, you can see the downturn that occurred in 2010. This is an indication of this year against last year. And the thing to point out is intermodal. Intermodal is down. That reflects the situation in the retail markets, and down particularly for us is imports from the Pacific Rim. The domestic intermodal, which is moving off the highways to the railroads, is still growing a bit, but we've seen a big downturn in imports from Asia. We've talked a little bit about the highway situation and the important role of railroads in the future. Here's a projection when you look at distances and market share, truck market and the rail market. Obviously, as the distance gets greater, the opportunity to move freight on an intermodal basis increases, but we see a shift. When you look at truck driver shortages, highway congestion, fuel prices, truck costs, we feel this is a strong area for growth for our industry. One of the key problems we're facing right now is the drought situation in Texas. I want to talk a little bit about that. Given the lack of rain and the fact that there's a lot of clay in the soil, we're seeing the track shift a lot. And in Texas, we have a situation where we have had to go out and work on almost 1,000 miles of railroad to come out there, pack new ballast in, realign the track. It's created slow orders. You might have a normal speed of 45, 50, 60 miles per hour with a freight train. We're down to 10 miles an hour in some places where you've got the conditions that I've spoken of. As you can see from the chart, we're finally turning the corner on that. We've improved the situation by about 10% in the last few weeks, but it's a challenge and it's an expensive one. The other issue, of course, that you've read about is the fires that have been occurring in parts of the state around Smithville up in East Texas. Fortunately, we haven't lost any facilities as a result of that, but our lines have been closed down as fire departments have needed to come through and battle those blazes. This is a tamper. I talked about realigning the track structure. These machines are out there working every day in trying to bring us back to the proper speeds. I thought I'd finish by showing you a map of the rail system in the Brazoria County area. This is from an old railroad atlas. It shows the existing lines. The Union Pacific lines are in yellow. The BNSF, the pink, and the blue is Kansas City Southern. The BNSF has trackage rights over our line through here. That's the original St. Louis, Brownsville, and Mexico Railroad that was built here around the turn of the last century. We've seen a lot of growth. We continue to invest in that in our railroad here. When I came to town, I hadn't been here for about 3 months, and I drove down to Freeport, and I looked at the skyline, and I saw this huge bridge. That's the bridge we've put in at a cost of $19 million to replace the one that was wearing out to get access to Mike's Port up to current standards. We've spent, looking at some of the regional projects, we've spent about $11 million in the last 5 years with improvements at our yard in Angleton and about $5 million at the Velasco yard here. So we continue to invest. We look forward to the growth that Brazoria County we think will continue to enjoy, and want to remain a good corporate citizen and an important part of the economy here. And with that, I'll turn it over to my colleague from Burlington Northern Santa Fe.